So y'all remember this whole thing about when Terence Crawford moved up to welterweight? Why didn't he petition to fight Errol Spence? And why did he go the WBO route? You remember that? And certain channels claim to be experts on the matter and all this other stuff. And whenever I hear channels say that, whenever I hear channels say, well, Bud was ducking Errol Spence when he got up to welterweight by going the WBO route, I laugh at that. Funny, because I think that talking point came out when people were saying Errol Spence was ducking Bud, when Errol was like, why don't I just take the easy route? Now, the easy route thing, people interpret it different ways. Some people say he meant easy route as far as it's easier for him to fight on his side of the street to get the belt from Shawn Porter. Other people looked at it like he was saying it as Shawn Porter is an easier fight. Right? Now, if you look at it from the aspect of Shawn Porter is on the same side of the street, so it was easier for Errol Spence to get that belt. Well, why isn't it the same way for Terence Crawford? Why did Bud have to move up and go after Errol Spence? See, they were using that talking point to try to debunk what Errol Spence was saying. So that's why when Bo Mack got up in there and said, yeah, the WBO was the easy route, I was just like, okay. People were saying they wish that Bo Mack didn't say that, but I never had a real issue with it. I'm just like, no, it came out wrong, bro, when it comes to Bo Mack. As far as Errol Spence goes, you can interpret that a couple different ways, I guess, right? Maybe he meant for sure that that Shawn Porter was an easier fight in the ring, or he definitely could have met Shawn Porter was an easier fight to make from the side of the street perspective. But why does Errol Spence, why did he get, why did people defend Errol and say, well, Errol meant it's easier to make the fight, but Bo Mack, when he said what he said, it meant that Bud was ducking. Now, back to when Terence Crawford got to welterweight, why did he go after Jeff Horn and he didn't petition to fight Errol? That's what these channels are saying, right? That's what these channels are saying. Why didn't he go after Errol Spence? Because, Bud was undisputed. So he could have activated his champ status, right? And fought, petition for an Errol fight or whatever it was. But here's the thing. Since we want to believe that this side of the street stuff matters, right? We're going to go off to that. We're going to go off for that. Because it worked for Errol, right? So it's going to work for Bud too. The WBO is real buddy and chummy, with Barbaro. And I will say this. They say, well, how do we know? Because my whole thing is this. I believe if Terence Crawford would have moved up and went right at Errol Spence for a fight, they wouldn't have fought him, bro. They wouldn't have fought him that soon. They wouldn't have fought him. They would have pulled all them shenanigans they was pulling all those years to not let Bud get that fight at that time, bro. It would have been a waste of time. They would have been running around in circles trying to make that fight. That's what would have happened. So it was easier to make that Jeff Horn fight for Bud to get his feet wet. They pulling that same shit with Madrimov. Oh, why he went off to Madrimov? Yo, he got a belt. He went to get a belt. He went to get something tangible. You understand what that means? If it was Errol going after Jeff Horn, would that have been a big deal? They wouldn't have said nothing. And would it have been wrong if Errol went after Jeff Horn? No, because Jeff Horn had a belt. Pacquiao could have had the belt, right? It wouldn't have mattered. He went after the belt. Something tangible. So whenever you hear these dudes talk about, yo, man, why didn't he go after Errol Spence? That's a deflection tactic to block the fact that, number one, that fight likely would have never fucking happened. And number two, that Errol was talking about the easy route. So they used Bo-Mac's words, try to play Bo-Mac's words against him, and use this whole Bud moving up moving up in weight. He could have went after Errol bullshit. They wouldn't have fought him. They would have ducked him. Do we know for a fact? No, but we can assume, because that was the thing that's been happening all this time while Bud got in the division. You know that little meeting they had. You know, you remember that, right? At the stadium. That shows me all I needed to know, man. Just my take. But anyway, let me know what y'all thought about that, man. This is Rebel Life, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. And I'm off this.